Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the star. It's Alexander speaking, your host, and on your picture you see two novelties from Panerai. It's the Radiomir Otto Giorni, meaning 8 days, and what you see on your screen, yes, features a power reserve of 8 days. So we're going to go into the details, and before we start, let us also talk about some history of the piece you see here on your screen.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
As you probably know, the Radiomir was a military secret for a long time. The watch was used for the Italian military in the 1930s until the 1970s. The design of the watch and with its specifications, especially the very perfectly readable dial in dark conditions. It's only in 1997 when Richemont then bought Panerai from Vendôme. They presented a version that was called PAM01347. I'm sure all of you remember the PAM01347. It was a platinum version, 60 pieces, and this watch was powered by Rolex caliber 618. So by selling these 60 platinum watches, Richemont earned, and this is something you should know, earned already the money they spent for buying the Panerai brand. So this was quite spectacular. By selling only 60 watches, they already earned back the money they invested to buy the brand and the name Panerai. Have you ever thought about how much they have been sold at the time being? About 23,000 euro. 23,000 euro. It was a bargain if you imagine what value such a watch today in theory has. 23,000 per 60. They sold 60 pieces, enabled the Richemont group to pay back what they spent for buying Panerai. What started in 1997 as a PAM01347 today is called PAM01347. Two versions are available. You already saw them. There is one brown and the blue one. You see the blue one, of course, because I prefer blue. So I always start with blue. And on top, it is written on the bracelet that it is made in Austria. So I had to take it first. Let me give you some details about the case. It is e-steel, so it is recycled steel. You probably remember the interview last year we taped with Jean-Marc Pontré, where he announced that Panerai is going to use more and more e-steel. This is also e-steel. Yep, recycled steel. The case has a diameter of 45 millimeters. The thickness of this case is quite reasonable for such a huge watch. It's 14.25 millimeters. Yeah, the case looks quite big, is quite big, but, and now comes something that might surprise you. What do you think is the diameter of the dial? Yeah, it's 35 millimeter only, but the watch dial is only 35 millimeters, so the rest is just encasing. The case is waterproof 100 meters, of course. What else did you expect? If you want to know about lug-to-lug distance, with such lugs, it's a little bit difficult to give you precise measurements. I can only tell you that the case is still 45 millimeters, and I've been adding the lugs here. And if you add them, I have been measuring 48 millimeters. So from the end here to the end here, we are measuring 48 millimeters, but this doesn't change anything. It anyhow sits perfectly on your wrist, and you will see this with the wrist shots we are also going to publish here in this video. The crown is a screw down crown, of course. Has to be, you can see here, screw in, nicely see that. It's a screw down crown, waterproof up to 100 meters. And also good for you to know, the crown is in its second position for setting the time, and what you see, we have hacking seconds. The small second hand has stopped, and once I restart the watch, I push in the crown, you will see that the small second start swiping again over the dial in the decentralized sub-dial here. Let me take the brown one. We do have a dial that is in French dégradé, meaning you have a more dark brown on the outer side and it's getting lighter to the inner side. The same you saw with the blue dial. That's a specific feature of the dial. And you have the sandwich construction, of course, of the dial with lots of superluminova, and you will see this in our Loom shot. It is incredible. And a little bit difficult to show in the video is that the hands are blue. They look dark, but they are blue in fact. But I have to find the proper angle. Now I think it is clear, visible that the hands are blue and not black. But depending on the light, how it falls on the dial, and you see it's turning black again. And if I cause some reflections coming from our lights, you quickly see that the small second hand, the minute and the hour hand are blue. I showed you first hacking seconds. You see the small second hand has stopped, but there is no home time function. So once you want to set the time, you have to pull out the crown in its second position, and then you will have to adjust the time. Anyhow, it is easy because there is no date. There is no 24 hours indication, so you just have to set it in a 12-hour mode. Then you are there where you want to be. But there is no quick adjustment for the hour hand, so-called home time function. The watch does not feature anything comparable like this. Then again, I just want to show that you press and you see that the small second hand starts to swipe over the dial in 1/3 of a second speed. It's again 21,600 semi-oscillations. If I turn the watch around, they both look the same on the back side. The watch is powered by the Panerai caliber P5000. It's a 3 Hz movement, 21,600 semi-oscillations, features 2 barrels, and yep, it has a power reserve of 8 days, and the entire movement consists of 146 components. But now you're watching the back side of the watch, and you have been also watching the front side of the watch. You are asking yourself, where is the power reserve indication? There is none. And now we can get into an interesting discussion, and I do encourage you to use the comment section to discuss this with me. Is it okay to have an 8 days power reserve without a power reserve indication? Because the point is, I've been winding the watches this morning, but you don't know when you are wearing the watch for a couple of days how much power reserve the 2 barrels still have. So it would have been a feature that would have been probably quite useful, but there is a way around how to solve the problem. Panerai should, when they sell the watches, give a little leaflet, a booklet, where you make your private notes when you are fully winding the watch, and then you will know when it will stop to tick after 8 days. What you see now on your screen is the boxed sapphire crystal. Thickness is 2.8 millimeter, and you can see nicely how it is boxed. Looks gorgeous. Panerai has been applying a anti-reflective treatment only underneath. So on the side you see here that causes some reflections. The upper side has no anti-reflective treatment. This causes, as you see, reflection. You can see the hand of Jorge filming. You can see parts of the camera, but this is how it is. And the same applies here. There's an anti-reflective treatment underneath, but it's not as crucial, of course, to have it here than on the front side. But you do have reflections plus some distortions when you are moving it. But this causes a very nice and very special effect, and I very much like it. I have to say, these boxed glasses add something vintage. They add something different. I'm not a huge fan of these flat integrated glasses in watches. Let's talk about e-steel. What you see here is e-steel. Yes, it is recycled steel. Majority of the steel that has been recycled comes from the watch industry. This is eco-friendly, if you want to call it like that. Doesn't change anything. The quality is the same as if it would be new steel, so there's no disadvantage for you buying such a watch. But what you see here is that those watches look a little bit used, as we might call it. Panerai says to create a seasoned look, or you could also say stonewashed, like with the jeans. So each case is different to the other one, and each case is manually treated by hand and therefore looks different to the other one. How do they create this effect on the watch? It's a PVD, physical vapor deposition, and it is manually done, and therefore each case already when you buy the watch looks different, and when it will then start to be yours with some scratches and normal use, you will have some scratches on it. This will develop your personal watch, and it will be always different to any other watch you will see, probably when you meet someone who has bought the same watch. Talking also about buying the watch, there's no limitation here. I don't think they will make huge quantities, but they should be available. And this might be interesting also for you. The watch is going to be sold for €9,900, including 19% VAT. So that's a German price. And in Germany, they do have a VAT of 19%. So if you are keen to know your net price, then you have to deduct these 19 or 20%, and you get a net price. So we do also see some engravings. We do have written here on the case back Panerai. There is indicated that the watch is waterproof 100 meters, serial number, etc. So this is what you can discover. And somewhere we do also have the word e-steel, and this is here, clearly named e-steel. And once again, please, e-steel is nothing bad. You are not buying a used watch. We had some confusions when we presented e-steel last year. People asking in the comment section, but I don't want to spend so much money for a used watch. This is not a used. It is recycled. And by recycling e-steel, they bring it, or they recycle it in a way that it is absolutely 100% comparable with new steel. The only difference is that recycling is more eco-friendly, and it shows that they are trying at least to reuse steel that other companies have been using, and you don't know when you buy the watch, since they buy back this from watch manufacturers, you don't know, maybe there's some Jaeger or Jägerlecul, some IWC in there. It could be a nice idea to think about what you're wearing on your wrist. Plus, it is, of course, the new beautiful Panerai they are just presenting here in Geneva. Also, and I didn't mention this before, but have you been questioning yourself, is this strap beautiful strap tapering? Yes, it does. We have 27 here, 27 here, and we do have 22 in the pin buckle. That is also made out of e-steel, gets the same mineral treatment, and also all the buckles will look different, as they told me. So this is quite unique here. You get not only a nice watch with an 8 days movement that is really nicely fitting on your wrist. It's funny, look here, made in Austria. This one, blue. They did it for me. I'm sure. I have to say. And look, the Italian version, la versione italiana. Here comes. Look, made in Italy. This here, Italian version. Or the brown. That's more the Italian style. How the Italian like to dress. Same straps. Have the same Panerai seal. There is a Panerai seal guaranteeing that this is an original strap, not a non-OEM strap. But one is made in Austria and one is made in Italy. I've been talking about the missing power reserve indication, so maybe you're asking yourself now, but do I know when the watch is fully wound? Yes, you do. You will feel the clicking of winding it, and once you reach maximum, that's the moment where I'm actually here, you feel that the crown shouldn't be turned anymore. You can, of course, but then you will break something, but there's a clear end of winding situation indicated through the crown, so you will know that the watch is fully wound. And yes, as I said before, it will be a nice idea if they have left out, probably for optical reasons, they left out the power reserve indication. They could have put one on the backside. They could, but they didn't. And since they left out this power reserve indication, it would be nice to get a little booklet and maybe a little pen, Panerai pen. And whenever you are winding your watch, you just write in the booklet the day and the hour, and then 8 days later, you will then know you should rewind your Panerai. You can always do that, of course, day by day, but the latest will be 8 days, and don't use your iPhone or smartphone for such notes. Use a booklet, and a pen, a fountain pen would be even much nicer. It's a mechanical watch, no digital stuff here. It's mechanical, and look, that nice shape. Well, Thank you very much for watching the presentation now of the two new Radiomir watches that will hit the markets very soon. Will be sold for €9,900, including 19% VAT, that are not limited, that look gorgeous on the wrist, I have to say. They're nice. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure not to miss all the other videos that we publish now during Watches and Wonders from Geneva here. Use the comment section, etc., etc., and recommend WatchAdvisor to all watch aficionados. Bye-bye.